Coming up on this episode of Mind the Game.
Time runs out. Countdown. Let's start with James Harden, Darius Garland.
Very intriguing. I'm very interested to see what happens.
For the Lakers, here we go. We're 6th seed.
Yeah. For us to be, I think 11 games, 12 games over 500 right now, top 6 seed in the West, I think it's pretty damn good under the situation that we've been in. But we got to keep going.
I have this play that happened the other day. You start to recognize the patterns. How much of that is you recognized beforehand or just, I'm jumping this.
A lot of teams kind of run the same kind of sets.
Kind of like this football action.
Football action,
yeah.
To kind of confuse you, getting guys going over the top underneath. And I'm seeing now at the corner of my eye that he's going to set a pin down for Grimes.
I read you stopped drinking. True story?
It's true story to when I stopped drinking.
Okay.
So I wasn't playing as the season started.
Yeah.
So I needed to give up something.
Yeah.
I got to sacrifice something, and I actually did 2 things that I very love, and that is drinking wine and my chocolate chip cookies for dessert. I completely took it out. So I was like, okay, I wasn't playing. I missed, obviously, I'm well documented, missed the first 14 games of the season. I wasn't playing in November, missed all of training camp, everything. So I was like, all right, I gotta take something out. I gotta sacrifice something, and for the whole month of November, I was like, I'm gonna do no desserts and no wine, no liquor, no nothing for the whole month of November. And yeah, I did that. And I actually went all the way. Once I got to December, I was like,
yeah, keep going.
I kept going. And I didn't have my first drink and my first piece of dessert until New Year's night. So I ended up going basically 2 months.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That must
the chocolate chip cookie part with the ice cream is probably the hardest for me.
Yeah.
Well, the wine too, because not playing and being a little stressed, I maybe wanted a glass here, a glass there, but it was good to give myself, give my body a break, and also to know that, like, you like to challenge yourself. We all like to challenge ourselves to know that. Yeah, I love the challenge.
So, like, how much of it was for the health benefits? How much of it was because I got to focus on challenges?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I want to focus on like challenge yourself, because that's 2 things that I love. I mean, it's it's two of my vices, and but to be able to know that you could tap into that, and also I was starting to round myself back into to shape, and doing things that I couldn't do throughout the summer because of the the back issue and things of that nature. So wanted to kind of give myself the best opportunity to get back to doing the things that I need to do on the floor.
Well, kudos. I actually went dry for 2 weeks twice so far this year, which I think is the most I've ever done probably in my life. You know what? I saw this thing on X the other day where someone of a younger generation than us, obviously not too much younger than you, was like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't need to spend $80 and wake up feeling like shit the next day. And then all these older dudes were chiming. He's like, that's because you guys, some of the comments I thought were great. That's because you guys don't know how to do it. You got to get your ass up and go to the gym the next day, sweat it out. And other guys are like, but you guys don't understand. Like, you just sit on your phone or play video games online. He's like, you got to meet people. You got to go out, have fun. You got to be the boy. So it's really interesting to me, like this generational divide around drinking, because drinking numbers are plummeting, which is not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But the whole ceremony of having a drink, I think, is something that is kind of indicative of where society's going and trying to find the right balance. Because it's not bad not to drink, but that bonding, like how many times have you been with your teammates and like it's taking you to another level as far as just...
For sure, that's social. Like, you and your teammates go out to dinner, and you guys have a nice dinner and have a nice glass of wine with it, a couple bottles of wine with it. It's like, and you start to see sometimes you see the season kind of change because of that one dinner. Right. You start getting, stories out of guys that maybe wasn't as talkative in locker rooms or whatever the case may be, or on planes or on buses, and everything started to come out. You kind of have that type of camaraderie kind of
inside
begins.
Jokes and stories you always refer to, and then like practices are shorter, games, like that's. I mean, maybe I'm biased because that's the way I grew up playing and through the league. But it is interesting. I mean, these days, the way it's not their fault.
No.
You know, younger generation, they grew up with their phone. They grew up in a different way. So, and I appreciate it, but it's like it's a different.
It definitely takes away the social aspect of it, though.
Different world. So, my guy Tyrese Haliburton, how do we do here? Is he like, should I be nervous about my seat over here?
He tried to take your spot,
take
man.
my shit.
He tried to take your shit, man. I had to calm him down a couple times. I was like, hey, listen, man.
Pump the brakes?
Ain't you preparing to get back to your day job, like your real day job? No, but listen, we both know him very well. He's a student of the game.
Yeah,
I think a lot of our viewers that watch Mind the Game, and even people that maybe don't watch it, that now, were fans of Tyrese, they got an opportunity just to know, like, not only why, but how special he is and what he does on the floor and how it translated because of this, and his love. Like, his love for the game is you can hear it in his voice, you can hear it in his message. It was, he's a great kid. It's my first time spending an extended period of time with him during the Olympics, Olympic trip, and definitely one of my favorite teammates coming out of that whole experience. Just a unbelievable kid, man, and I love everything that's coming his way. He's special.
So here we are going into our 22nd All-Star game. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it, my brother.
22 All-Star games.
I just seen a clip earlier today. My first MVP in an All-Star game. Many.
How many All-Star MVPs?
Two,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, how do you know? How do you
maybe,
know? It's
maybe.
like,
But I did see the clip 20 years ago of me, winning my first MVP, and that was 20 years ago, man. It's
crazy.
like, and
how old's Bronny?
He's 21.
21. So you've been in 22 All-Star games.
Yeah, more than he's been here alive.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's super, man. It's a super, obviously, humbling, and it's a blessing, and there's so many words to try to describe it. It's like, I obviously was never a goal of mine to be a 22 All-Star appearance. Like, I definitely wanted to be in the All-Star game growing up. I just, watched the guys play and, watch MJ and Penny, and all the guys, Grant Hill and so many greats, when I was growing up, AI, all those guys, Coby, all those guys, play, and it looked like so much fun, and that was like the biggest stage, you feel like a sense of like, I belong, at this stage when you finally hit that floor with those guys. So I remember my first time being an All-Star, and I'm like, just in such awe, just being in the back with, all those guys. Like I said, Vince and AI and Coby and KG and all those guys. And, now I'm that guy, and seeing new, All-Stars, first year All-Stars coming in, this year. And for me to still be here, it's definitely super, like I said, super humbling. And I don't know, I'll probably have more words and more explanation behind it once I'm kind of done, and I can look back on it like, wow, you did that at that time, like. But it is pretty cool.
Kareem had 19.
Yeah, 19.
Okay, so you're lapping Kareem. That's crazy. Yeah, that's great. Well, congrats. I mean, well deserved, and I think you're right. Like, it does. There's playing in All-Star games. I feel like there's also the historical element. Like, you feel a connection to your childhood, but also like the history of the game, and that in that moment in time, these are the best players in the league. So to feel that as a young player in the league, I'm interested, how you feel this stage, right? Like you to play 22 All-Star games. At some point in there, it had to become like deep breath, another All-Star game. But like at this end of it, it's got to be. There has to also be. It comes back around.
No, for sure. There's definitely I would like to have that week,
right?
To for my body, for my mind to kind of recalibrate. Now we went through the marathon stage of the season. Now we're starting to get to the sprint. It's like the last 20 plus games before postseason, and then once the postseason starts, it's like it's a 100-meter yard dash. We right at it. So you want to any way you can find an opportunity to reset. So there's a part of me, obviously half of me, maybe a little bit more half. That's like, I wish I could have that full week, But there's also the nostalgic side too, and the humbleness and the childhood that comes out of me. Like, wow, like, bro, you're an All-Star again. Like, you remember those times where you were, like I said, I was watching it when I was a teenager or as a kid, and just seeing the greats and seeing the lights and wanting to be a part of that moment. So I get both. There's truth to it could be two stories of a coin, but it could be truth to both. And like I said, both can be true at the same time, and I get both feelings. So I'm definitely humbled and thankful that the coaches wanted me a part of this weekend. They saw what I was able to do still at this point in my career, and I appreciate it.
For sure, it's a beautiful thing. I got a question for you. This is I don't know. You police me on this one, but like we changed the schedule, right? We started camp a little earlier. We have less back-to-backs. So now we don't have as many back-to-backs. The season's elongated a little bit, but we also, because we had more back-to-backs, you had more time off in between sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do.
I wonder if we are in a better place now with less back-to-backs, or if we're almost stuck in the middle. In the old days, you might have 4 and 5 nights, but you'd have 2 days off before and after, and you'd have that time to rest.
Yeah. I've always felt like the back-to-backs, depending on if you're traveling compared to home or whatever the case may be, but I've always felt like the second night of a back-to-back, I've always felt kind of better.
Right. Yeah, I can relate to that.
I will wake up extremely tired.
Yep.
Sleepy. I need more rest, but I felt in a better rhythm.
Yeah.
That second night of a back-to-back. And I've always historically, if I look at my numbers, whatever the case may be, that I know it's a lot of numbers, but I've always felt better once I got on the floor. And also, like you said, having those extra days, after you get an opportunity to recoup, that is something we need to track, because right now we're pretty much, it's every other day. It's every other day playing, and if you playing a back-to-back, then you're going to get one day off. Like we just got back from a couple weeks ago, we got back from an 8-game road trip, and we basically played every other day. We had one back-to-back in that 8-game road trip, and then we got back home basically after the 8-game 2-week road trip. We got home Wednesday morning at like 3:30 in the morning, Wednesday, and then we were back on the floor playing Thursday night. So like you said, back in our day, like you would usually get that one day, you would get another practice day, and then you wouldn't play, maybe into that Friday. So,
well, that's actually another point in this, is that you can't practice anymore.
Oh no, I don't remember the last time we actually practiced.
Right, you can't, and that's also rightfully part of the performance teams now. When I left the league in 2014, your performance team was 4 or 5 people. Right. Now it's 10 people.
That's minimal too.
10, plus, and it's much better resumes and degrees, and the wealth of knowledge of those 10 to 12 people. So they're going to say no, like we're shutting everyone down to the maximum they can between games. Whereas when you had 2 days off, you can come back in. We might play a 10-minute scrimmage. Right. Get your legs going, work on something. So there is a give and a take in this. I wonder if the middle ground is, and I'd love to hear your take on this, is start camp even 10 days earlier and just take back-to-backs out, right? If we're going to take them, to limit them, can we start? Because, like in our sport, if you make the playoff, if you win the championship, you get July, August, September, you get over 3 months off, which is big compared to a lot of sports. If you don't make the playoffs, you get 5 months off. 5 months off. So what's another 10 days, or whatever, I'm making it up, 10 days, might be 2 weeks, might be a week, and take out back-to-backs completely. Because right now we're kind of in that middle ground. We still have back-to-backs, but we, almost never have 2 days off, or much less regularly.
Yeah, and we're still having back-to-backs, and it's less. And we still have a lot of our guys still getting injured too. So like, what we're trying to figure out, what is it, and I don't know how guys feel about starting 10 days earlier, but if it does take out back-to-backs, I think a lot of guys kind of chirp on back-to-backs and never. I think the majority of you would say throughout your career and my career that people get a little annoyed at how many back-to-backs can be in a season. So if there isn't any back-to-backs and then we're able to get maybe 2 days in between games, how does it affect, does it affect our game? Does it affect our players in a good way or a bad way? That's a good thought. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that or you know, for me, like, you know, obviously is the game is so much different now, and you have to kind of adjust to the game now.
It's a big
but
factor.
like, I looked at back-to-backs and 4 and 5 nights like as a mental warfare.
100%.
Like, like if you looked on the schedule and you know you played Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and you only had Wednesday off, you're like, okay, if I can just push myself through this, then, you know, once the postseason starts, you get to the postseason, you know, you're not playing back-to-backs.
Yeah, right.
You know, I know the games are a little bit more grueling and the games are a little bit more, you know, mentally, you know, draining. But if I can, you know, play 4 and 5 nights, I remember after the lockout, and after 2010 or 2011, the lockout happened, there were times where we had to play back-to-backs.
Right.
I remember playing 3 games in a row,
Yeah.
you know, when I was in Miami. So
it's a hard thing to know what the right thing to do. The game is changing, right? Like there are, you know, we do have to. There's more miles covered, more
for
XL
sure.
decels.
That's the one thing. The game has definitely changed.
More closeout, like everything you got to do.
Yeah.
That the wear and tear on the body is different.
It's way different.
I do think though, like the science, I always lead with science, so I appreciate all our sports scientists and everything, but I do think like science is a consensus, kind of in a way, like whereas our league is so random with the travel. Like I felt the same way as you. I think I felt the challenge of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
I felt 4 and 5 nights got to show up on the 4th night, like as a leader of your team. But I do wonder, like, I feel like, is it because the game's different, or did we build more resilient athletes without, unintentionally, because there was a more grueling element, and the game wasn't as fast, but the schedule was more grueling.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a deeper conversation, deeper thought. I do feel like the athletes, the way I grew up, that you really, there was really no excuses.
Right.
You know, like, you know, we would, I mean, listen, when I was growing, we practiced on every holiday. We didn't have no holidays off. You know, we played in all the games we practiced every day. We practiced every day, and our coach always said if we practice hard in practice, we go at it. And obviously, you know, this is high school. You can run from, you know, miles and miles and miles. But it's also a mindset too.
Right.
Like, the games are going to be so much easier. Like, if we could come here and execute and do the things at a high level in practice, then, you know, once the games come, it'd be a lot easier. I don't know. I think it goes back to like the first conversation that we started off today. Is like, you know, the difference between, you know, being on your phone all the time and actually going out and having social conversations and being social, you know, practicing and not practicing. Obviously, we got these. And I walked in the training room the other day after a game, you know, and I have to like really like be sore or whatever, but I rarely go into the training room and get like a leg flush after a game. We play like a lot of games, and I went in there after the game just get like a 20-minute flush before I started my ice and treatment and whatever. There's a lot of people in there. Listen, I was a little overwhelmed.
You said that nicely.
There's a fucking ton of people in there, man. It was like 5 guys.
Yeah.
It was 5 guys on the team. There was like 25 people in the training room.
Right.
Like,
it's like
7 doctors.
Redesign our buildings.
Yeah, it's like 7 doctors, 7 or 8 doctors. 10 medical team staff, 4 or 5 massage therapists. Like, it was like 25. I was like, oh man. And it was loud too.
Right.
Like, I was like, I need my headphones.
It's like a clinic.
Yeah, it was like a clinic. Like, I was walking into like the emergency at like UCLA.
The pit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know. Like, and it's not, this isn't at all our generation's better. I love where the game's at. I love this generation of players. It's just these questions are interesting because everything has changed so quickly, like in our game. And I think we're thinking about it, but I still wonder, like, are we thinking about it the right way all the time? And there's no way to necessarily know that.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know if no one has the answer. Obviously, everything is kind of just like trial and error.
Trial and error.
Yeah, let's try to figure it out. And the athletes, I don't know how much more athletic your guys are going to get, but guys are going to get faster, get more athletic and more, you know, so how do we continue to you know, do the right things for, you know, our product to be available? That's the most important.
Right,
that's the most important.
What's on the floor, right?
Yeah, what's on the floor.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. There's so many So many questions that we don't necessarily know the answer, but trial and error is really the most fun way to attack it. And now over to our producer, Jason, for a word from one of our partners.
Thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring the show. Folks, we're halfway through the NBA season, and this is when basketball gets absolutely electrifying. We're seeing jaw-dropping moments when a superstar takes over and flips the game on its head. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you get in on the action and supercharge that excitement. Right now, new DraftKings customers who bet $5 get $200 in bonus bets if their first bet wins. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up using the code MIND. Also, if sports betting isn't available in your state, don't worry. My cousins in Oklahoma can still get after it with DraftKings Pick 6 and compete for cash prizes. There's something for everyone, and the app is super easy to use. They even have tips and tricks on how to get started. I love using DraftKings to bet on games, but the parlays really up the experience. That's kind of my favorite thing to do. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code MIND to bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet hits. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
As a little kid, my dad would take me to my grandparents' home in North London where he grew up. I used to love walking from the house through the park to watch a Tottenham match. Soccer wasn't just a game in our family, it was everything. When you're there, you can really feel that passion, and it's contagious. You'd open a window and feel the excitement of match day and hear songs echoing through the stadium. Those trips shaped everything for me. My love of sport, family, tradition. Come to think of it, that house would have been perfect for hosting visitors on Airbnb during a big tournament. With the World Cup coming this summer, fans from all over the world will be traveling to North America. And you can help create that magic I experienced as a kid in Tottenham by hosting your home on Airbnb. Why not earn some extra cash while making their trip unforgettable? Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. For the Lakers, here we go. We're 6th seed.
Yeah.
Okay, 6th seed. How are we feeling here? You know, the West is incredible, man.
West is incredible. So many great teams. Obviously, you got the defending champions with OKC. San Antonio's playing great ball. Houston is playing good ball.
Denver.
You know, Denver's playing good ball. Jokic is back. You know, Phoenix is playing good ball. You know, that a lot of people didn't think we're gonna, play good ball. They're playing good ball. We're playing good ball at times. But the number one important thing for us is back to is health.
Yeah.
You know, we finally got healthy, with AR coming back, and then Luka goes down with the hamstring. So, that is going to be the most important for our team. Yeah. And it's kind of been like that for the last few years with our team. Like, we haven't been set up to the point where we have a lot of room for error or, when one guy, like when AD was on the team, if AD goes down, it was like, shit, we don't have, enough to kind of pick that up, and Luka goes down, gosh, shit is Luka. AR was down. We had guys trying to, but it was tough on us. So, obviously, Luka in the MVP race right now, all-star leading vote getter, leading the league in points, top 2, 3 in assists. No one's gonna replace that. But I think when I'm talking about like what for our team to be, it's not trying to get his numbers. It's about how can we get enough minutes and chemistry
reps
on the floor and reps, like okay, this is what our fourth quarter lineup looks like. This is, how we end the quarters. A lot of games are won, in the last minute and a half of quarters. How can you outscore the team? How can you get more possessions? And
rotations are always changing.
Rotations always changing,
so how do you work on it?
That's for us to be, I think 11 games, 12 games over 500 right now, top 6 seed in the West. I think it's pretty damn good under the situation that we've been in. But we got to keep going, because the West, it changes every day. Yeah,
well, I don't want to drag us back into the schedule and load management, all that conversation. But, look at the West. If you ask me who's the favorite, it all depends on health, right? Shea's out. J-Dub's been in and out. Obviously, same you could say with Hardenstein, Caruso, others, AJ Mitchell. So their health, they're not the same team if they're not fully healthy, right? Denver, Same. Right now, and last year, you could make an argument they were a championship team or finalists if Aaron Gordon's hamstring.
Yeah.
He's got his hamstring again. Peyton Watson's out right now. If the Jokic has been out. So, health for them, too.
That's the most important, man.
Right?
You call it.
Go down the line, though. Houston. Steven Adams, difference maker on
Yeah.
their team, right? He's out. You guys just been up and down with health the whole year. So it's like that is the picture. I mean, and then if you look below you, like the Suns have been injured all year.
About Minnesota.
Right? Minnesota. They've been the healthiest team,
Yeah.
but they went from like an 8-man rotation to a 6-man rotation,
Right.
losing Mike Conley, obviously,
Nikhil
just kind of not
Alexander.
playing as much.
Yep.
Nikhil not
Yep.
being there this year. I think it was a great pickup. Donsumu.
Yeah.
That's a great pickup for them to give them a little more depth. They've been healthy, but everyone else, like the Dubs, like Warriors, like that's still a team you don't necessarily want to play in the play-in, right?
Right.
Stephen Curry can do magical
for sure.
things, but they've been injured, so they're trying to find it. So again, it just goes to this thing, and I don't feel like it was that way in the aughts,
Right.
the tens. That like the championship really came down to health, as much as anything. So it is fascinating, but. With you guys getting, hopefully, Luka back, the 3 main guys on the floor more, because it's also hard to know what you have rotation-wise or role player-wise if you 3 aren't out there taking up the responsibility. Like for them to really know how can they start their role is difficult when you guys aren't out there and they have to do more.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the most important for us, and I'm looking forward to the final stretch of us getting whole, hopefully. Obviously, knock on wood, but getting whole, seeing what we got, and I get, kudos to our coaching staff of still being able to keep us afloat, even through all the injuries, everything that's going on. Playing in LA, which is very difficult and challenging. Coaching in LA could be very difficult and challenging because the lights and coverage and everything is just different, obviously. So, we're looking forward to this final stretch.
Kennard is a good pickup.
Big time.
You need shooting.
Yeah, you need shooting.
Especially just that button you can push to give you guys space, not just the points, but just to give you guys space to operate. So I think that's going to help. But again, my whole thing for you guys is just defense. How are you going to defend top teams for longer stretches? And that, as you know, you need reps. You need reps to support each other, to know where guys are weak and strong. And so it'd be very fascinating to see when you guys get healthy, how you guys play more zone. Play more zone, which I like.
Which I like too.
Figure it out. I think there's a lot of creativity to be had in zones as well. When you have guys with IQs, it can be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I have this play that happened the other day. It was probably a month ago now in Philly. It was the end of the game. I think you guys were up more. It was more than a possession game. It was like a 4 or 5 point game, and you stole the ball. But it was something we've seen you do. They're down 4 seconds left, so they need a bucket and they need one fast. And you're kind of talking it out. You're playing center field here. You're noticing the pattern. You call for one switch with AR. You see them coming together, and you see, and you go back to your football days. And, talk us through that, because you've done that before. You start to recognize the patterns. How much of that is you recognized beforehand, or just, I'm jumping this because I know what they're doing it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. A lot of teams kind of run the same kind of sets.
Kind of like this football action.
This football action, to kind of confuse you, getting guys going over the top underneath, and they hope that red confuse. They want red confusion. And right now we are in our defense switch. We want to switch everything before and after.
Okay.
But we want to come together.
So just for the viewer, switch before the ball's inbounds.
Before the ball is inbounds.
Or after, because sometimes we don't switch until it's in.
Yep, correct.
Just to make sure there's everyone's on the same page.
Everybody's on the same page. So now we're in switch before and after. And I switched the first one with AR, then me and Jake come together, body to body with Joel. And I'm seeing now out the corner of my eye that he's going to set a pin down for Grimes. And I'm just jumping it. I'm literally jumping this right here. I see it, I recognize it, and I'm able to read it and jump it and obviously seal the game. So, I mean, to be honest, obviously you never know what can happen in games like this.
Right.
We only up 4. We've seen guys foul, 3-point shooters goes in, and I was just happy I was able to make a play and kind of just seal the game at the end of that game.
And as an offensive coach, your man should have rim run that to make
Yeah.
just to make you guys think about the switch. But when you recognize that he turned his back to you, you're like, oh, he's just going to screen.
Yeah, he's just going
and
to
it gave
screen.
you the opportunity. I can jump early.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, it's always fun to see the old heads.
That's the IQ and
the experience.
Yeah, the experience.
Seen it a million times.
Seen it a million times. We say the best teacher of life is experience.
And you also know, like, there's certain things they can't do right now.
Right.
So you've taken that out of your, and so you're like, they can only do one or two. Right
Yeah,
now.
you thinking like, what is their, I'm asking our coaching staff, and I'll also ask the table how many timeouts they have.
Yeah.
Because there's certain plays that you can run. And there's certain places you can't run depending on if you have a timeout or not.
Got to get it in.
Got to get it in. Or how many timeouts do we have? If we give up a quick 2, do I have the ability to, advance the ball? We call timeout advance the ball. If they don't have a timeout, they're not going to have enough time to now get back and run a set. So like, I'm thinking about all those type of things, and also what they could possibly run.
Yeah, it's also like if you know you have an extra timeout, they do score. You could take it out quick, take a look, even if you weren't designated. Like I might have someone near or far, and I can still call timeout. So all those things, those details at the end of games matter. It's like, those are things that I think are hard in our league. Because of injury, because of practice floor time.
Practice, man. A lot of stuff that you learn, like you work on a lot of in-game situation stuff at practice or at shoot-arounds.
Shoot-arounds.
At shoot-arounds, and like you said, it's all these games is happening. A lot of, you're not able to rep it. You're not able to rep it, so you're doing a lot of it on the fly in the game. 5-on-0,
5 against coaches.
Yep.
The pattern I fell into as a coach was our shoot-arounds were practices. Not in effort, but in concentration. It was like offensive breakdowns, defensive breakdowns, end of game situations, because you don't really have the time. You're always moving. Planning your next getaway? Looking for a new favorite vacation spot? There's one destination that I keep seeing popping up everywhere. Dubai. Let's say you want to spend your time relaxing at a nice resort or an even nicer beach, bonding with your loved ones. Dubai has something for everyone, regardless of your budget, and it's safe and secure. Great for the whole family. Dubai is definitely on my short list of places to go. I'd love to go up the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, to get in the red dunes, or to take part in some of the water sport and enjoy that great weather. With so many activities to choose from discovering natural attractions and local culture, to exploring luxury shopping options and nightlife. If you're a foodie, you'll find a diverse culinary scene filled with authentic cuisine and Michelin star restaurants. Dubai has it all. Sure, it's a little farther than, let's say, Europe, but when you fly Emirates, does it matter? Your Dubai trip starts the moment you board the aircraft. You'll fly better no matter which cabin you choose. And as the global airline partner of the NBA, they stream live NBA games. Plus, you get access to player profiles, documentaries, and more. So you can keep up with what's happening in the league at 40,000 feet in the air. How cool is that? Go to Emirates.com to book your trip now. There's nothing like going from a relaxing airport lounge to an even more relaxing hotel, followed by dinner, a concert, and doing it all over again. With the newly enhanced American Express Platinum Card, upping your travel game just got a whole lot better. With Amex Platinum, you can enjoy access to over 1,550 airport lounges throughout the largest global lounge network, as compared to other credit card companies as of July 2025. Lounge access means having a place to take it all in before you need to take off. With an array of premium travel, dining, and entertainment benefits, all backed by American Express's award-winning service, there's nothing like Platinum. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withplatinum. So we just had a pretty slow and then really busy trade deadline.
Yeah, it was slow at first, right?
Like it's one of those things, right? It's not till leverage always comes when time runs out, right? Yeah, right? And then everything started to happen here. Yeah. So let's go through some of them, because I think there was some interesting trades. Let's start with James Harden, Darius Garland. Interesting for the Clippers. Yeah. I'll talk about them first. Like, it was interesting because it in hindsight, it appears it was opportunistic. Like they were the hottest team in the league.
Yeah,
they were like whatever, 15-3 or somewhere near that,
Yeah.
at least before it. Obviously, James's extension was a factor. Moving forward, how do they want to do? They lost a guy who's still playing at an all-star level,
for sure.
but maybe wasn't the future, and they got a guy 10 years younger.
Yeah.
And then I think the Zubac thing, which we'll talk about in a bit, was opportunistic too. Like
Yeah.
they weren't planning this. It was just like, okay, the James situation came up. They made the move. They got younger there, start for the future, and then the Zubac thing. So I think let's park the clips for a minute. But for the Cavs, I think this is potentially a difference maker.
Yeah, and they're going for it.
Yeah.
They're going for it. They felt like they needed, another playmaker, someone that's been there, kind of been in this situation before, and they added James, like you said, perennial all-star, who's still putting up all-star numbers, gives, Donovan Mitchell another like ball handler guy who can make shots late in the game, but also like those pickups that they got from from Sack as well.
Yes.
Schroeder, former teammate of mine, that's going to compete every single night, and Keon Ellis, guy who's going to compete, make shots. Like those guys are going to be, I think, really, really good for that team, right?
Yeah.
And especially in the East, where it's a lot of bulk, a lot of you got to have some dogs in there. So I think they added a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a great point about the two bench guys,
Yeah.
Ellis and Schroeder. Schroeder, obviously, he's going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
For not only having an NBA career, but what he's done with Germany.
Yeah, for sure.
World Championship
Yep.
and the Olympic medal, European Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a guy who's pressure tested.
Yeah.
So you add that to your bench, which is great.
Yeah.
I think there was something off with the Cavs, and I think it's hard to judge them because they were always injured too.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting back to our conversation.
Yeah. No Garland and Strus. He hasn't played. Strus hadn't played all year as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like Strus, it's interesting. I know we know him as a shooter, but like he was the dog on that team.
Yeah.
The guy that's going to stick his nose in there every night. And I think they missed that a little bit personality-wise. So, yeah, I think that's a difference maker for them. Interesting one in the West also was Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
Utah finally kind of comes out from the bushes and says, all right, we're going to press play now and try to win. So give me your thoughts there on Jaren Jackson. Obviously, heavy picks. They got a young player in there as well.
Man.
Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
But really, this is them saying, like, yeah, we'll give up some picks. We'll try to get an all-star caliber player.
And which they did. And I mean, you look at, with him and marketing, two guys that's multi-dimensional. And both two guys that can also block a lot of shots. They have a lot of athleticism. With the rookie Bailey, obviously Keontae George is playing exceptional basketball this year. Now you add Jaren Jackson, who's battle tested as well, been in playoff games, of course. They're trying to build something, I think, for the next couple of years. Obviously, they haven't played, how they will like to play. Obviously, their big fella's been out pretty much all year. Walker Kessler's been out all year.
And he's either free or a restricted free agent.
I think he may be restricted. He may be restricted.
But you can imagine signing that front court of Laurie, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker. That's length.
Yeah, that's a lot of length. So that was an interesting trade. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
There were talks of Jaren Jackson, not being a part of the Memphis Grizzlies' future, but I didn't see it being Utah going there and doing that. But listen, Danny Ainge got a billion. Between him and Presley, they got $1 billion first-round picks, and picks locked up, so they can pretty much do anything. It's like they play Monopoly at this point.
It's like their own economy over there. Yeah, so I'm very intrigued and excited in a sense for Utah just to get going now, to try to see. And I think a lot of that is George. His development, them recognizing they think they have an all-star caliber player in the future.
He's playing some good ball, man.
Yeah,
really
very,
good ball.
very talented. All right, now let's this maybe we move into our Clippers / Indy talk with the Zubac trade. Clippers are in this. I think they're in this. What are we doing now? Or should we
that's what it seems
test
like.
the waters?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like they're kind of like, where are we? Where are we? With the franchise. Listen, I don't know if it's like Zubac still hates the Lakers because of the trade or whatever, but when he plays against us, man,
he's good.
Man, he kicks our ass.
He's a really good player, man.
I mean, he kicks our ass, man. He's gigantic. And I don't think a lot of people understand how big he is. Great hands around the rim, great touch.
Yep.
Obviously he worked well with James. That could have been something too, because James' playmaking ability.
Yep.
They felt like once they got off James, they felt like maybe they could go get something for Zubac because they losing the playmaking of James. I think it's a great pickup for Indy, especially going into the future. Obviously, after losing Miles Turner, obviously to Milwaukee, two different players.
Right.
But I think with Tyrese coming back at some point with Zoo, I think it's going to work well. I mean, Zoo works well with playmaking point guards or playmaking players.
Yeah. And
Tyrese is one of our best playmakers in our game. Obviously, you've seen what Zoo was able to do the last couple of years with James. So, I think it's going to be a great pickup, and kudos to Indiana. Obviously, probably, Rick probably had a lot to do with it. Bring him in there. They saw his talent. He's still young, relatively, and I think it's going to be good. I think Tyrese is going to love him.
Yeah, I like it. Not the spacer the Miles Turner was, but like he's so good around the rim.
Right, so good.
He can play in the roll, play in the short pocket. Great hands around the rim, but also rebounds.
Yeah, can rebound extra possessions here for sure.
Defends the rim. So yeah, I'm excited for Indy. Let's just take another moment of silence for Indy. I mean, they're in Game 7. Playing well, and they lose tie, and that's basically what we've seen this year. Is a team that lost their leader. So excited for them that there's like, oh wow, they could really put together.
I think it's gonna be. I think they're gonna love Zoo. He's a great player.
Agreed. Okay, well let's talk about the Washington Wizards.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm very intrigued, and I'm very interested to see what happens and how this all comes about. Obviously, next year. It's kind of towards next year. I don't know.
AD's out for the rest of this year.
Yeah, I think AD's out. It could be. That's what the talks of, and I think it's already been said maybe that Trey is not going to play this year as well. But I'm interested to see, what they do and how it all comes together. With AD, obviously, we know the talent level is out of this world, and Trey, with his ability to play pick and roll game, his ability to shoot the ball, his lob threat. I love the young kid from France that they have on their team too. We just played him. Sar. We just played him 2 weeks ago. Great touch, great feel for the game. Love the kid George as well, young kid, pretty good player, and then also the rookie kid that they got from Texas, Johnson. Trey Johnson. I think it's gonna be tough. Every year they have some pieces, and I think for the first time in a few years we can say that Washington has grabbed some pieces,
right?
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see what happens and how they come together with a training camp, maybe with an off season. If guys get together, we'll see what happens with that. See how motivated Trey and AD is to prove Dallas and LA and Atlanta. How listen, we know what we're capable of. But every year is different.
Yeah.
You got to look into you look into the future, but look like those are two all-stars.
You think that was opportunistic too? That they picked up Trey and AD, like they weren't like, hey, let's grab these two all-star types to go with our young crew. Or do you think it kind of fell in their laps and like thought about it and said, why not? Because the other part of this is that they're both extension eligible.
Yeah.
So there's a big caveat in this whole thing. So
I think I would kind of lean more into it. Kind of fell in their lap.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, I would say so. I think there were so many rumblings around Trey over the last couple of years in Atlanta. And where he could fit or does it fit? In Atlanta, and I think. Jalen Johnson's a surgeon, and Nikhil and the way they was playing when Trey went down, I think Atlanta saw, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for us to, look more into the future or possibly, see what we can get out of Trey, and they did that, bringing in CJ and Corey Kispert, and I think with the whole AD thing, just from outside people talking like Dallas. Obviously got the first pick and the quick rise of Cooper Flagg and them kind of looking to their future as well. Right. Kind of made them look for something with AD as well. So I think the Wizards was the perfect team to kind of just jump on that, and it was right timing. I would say.
On paper, Washington's interesting because like if you look at Trey's weakness would be defensive impact. But you have AD and you have Sar, as your 4 and 5, 5 and 4, however you want to slice it. Sar can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
AD obviously can roll and duck in and do all those things. They got some support, and they got some wing size and length and defenders too. So there's more support for him there, and you know how brilliant he can be offensively. So it is interesting to see if they keep that thing together.
I think it's interesting to see it. I'm very interested to see how it come together for sure.
How the Celtics have had an unbelievable year. Just playing great basketball. A lot of unknowns with JT being out this year. Seems like their style of play, identity, winning the possession game. Being undersized a lot of the time, but making up for it in different ways. They add Vooch, Nikola Vucevic to their team. What's your take on that? I mean, this is a team that's kind of
hanging around,
sneaky, dangerous,
sneaky, hanging around, dangerous. They just assigned JT to the main team, so it's looking like that he's kind of ramping up, to possibly play this year. And they're not giving up on the season, which a lot of people was talking well, no JT, trade. No, Al Horford was gone, Drew Holiday's gone, the championship team is gone. Well, they still have championship DNA. They still have guys on the team that won the championship, and they still got a championship coach. So those guys are they use that as motivation. And you add Vooch, another guy that can. This is a team that over the last few years have led the league in 3-point attempts per game. And now you add Vooch, another stretch 5, that can stretch the floor, can catch the ball in short pockets. You can't really switch a lot of small guys on it because his ability to duck in and go, over his right shoulder, left shoulder, kind of punish you on that end. So
and a good passer.
And a very good passer as well. And a guy who just knows the game. Yeah. So they're not they didn't throw in the towel on the season. While everybody thought they were like, no, we're not throwing in the towel.
Well, to be TBD on JT, obviously. I do have concerns just because I want to see him play 10 years healthy from here on out. But, if he's apparently getting close to playing, this is an interesting team because Jaylen Brown's been unbelievable this year. Playing at an incredible level. Pritchard, White, they've all been outstanding. You go down the line. And I think that Vooch gives them this optionality because Keita's been great. I think he's been a surprise to a lot of people. Both ends of the floor, he's been really impactful. And now they can go double big, because Vooch can stretch a little bit like they did with Garza. So now they have Garza, Vooch, and Keita. So this is interesting. And with or without JT, obviously we all know how great he is. We don't know where he'll be with his game rhythm and how he fits to this current iteration in short time. Obviously, great players find a way. I am curious in the East, even without JT, how troubling they can be with their style of play.
Yeah, and when you gotta go to Boston for a playoff game, you know how hard it is to win in that building. The crowd is it's not many crowds in our game that kind of speaks fear into you. Right. They just have that mentality, So that crowd is definitely a factor. So, like you said, it's going to be interesting, with JT, without JT, be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. The Thunder, I thought this was interesting. The Thunder, they have all these picks.
Right.
They kind of fly under the radar, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they go and they grab Jaren McCain.
Yeah.
I like this pickup for them.
Yeah, me too.
You got the picks. You got a team that the one thing they did not do in the playoffs last year was shoot the 3 ball very well. And they've had periods during this season where they didn't shoot it well. Yeah. So to have that another option, another guy that can handle the ball a little bit, can make plays a little bit, but really can shoot the ball and stretch the floor.
He can really shoot the ball.
I think that's a good move for them. You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I like it in the sense that when you're a champion and you're a championship team, I like how they're not satisfied with what they have. And they have a lot.
Yeah.
But he's still not satisfied, and the fact that he would still go out and see ways to improve his team, even though he still has a championship team, caliber team, that just, for a player, you feel so good about that. The front office is still going out and saying, okay, this is what we may not be so great at, even though we have a championship team still, and even though we're number 1 in wins in the league, how can we still get better? So, I like to pick up young kid. He can, like you said, stretch the floor, add another ball handler, can still get to that .5 mentality with what they do, and It's going to be interesting, though, but he's a really good player.
Yeah, I like it. It's also interesting, when they're talking about future and roster building. They got young guys still on rookie deals, and they got guys that have gotten their deals. The Caruso, Dortz, and so I think that gives them also options going forward to how they want to build their team. So I kind of get it on both standpoints for the now and for the future. All right, let's move on to the Pistons. They traded Jaden Ivey, who was a lottery pick. Yeah, and who was playing well, shooting the ball well. For Kevin Huerter. So, interesting one, because I think this could be a good trade for both teams potentially. I like Ivy. I think he came off a long injury and is starting to shoot the ball well. And Huerter is a clever player. He can shoot. He can play off a closeout, play in pick and roll. Kind of gives them more spacing, gravity, and isn't a terrible defender. So
I think it worked out for both teams. I think Jaden, obviously before the injury last year, shooting the ball exceptionally well. Came back this year, obviously still working his way, back. Explosive player. I think it's both for both teams. It's both for Jaden to be able to go and now he can feel like, even maybe get a little bit more responsibility. And also for Detroit to get another guy that can hit the three, can make plays, that .5 mentality as well. So I think it works out for both squads.
Yeah, okay. Detroit's had a heck of a year.
Yeah, they have.
Unbelievable defense, and Cade, man, he's
Cade he's tough, man.
Makes all those guys better.
Yeah, he's tough.
The Knicks picked up Alvarado.
Homegrown.
Brooklyn native.
Yeah.
That's going to give the Garden a boost. This guy, another tough, clever player, can give you a spark. I think I like that.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I mean, everyone knows what he's about. Winning plays. He's a winning player, and he's going to bring energy, effort every time he steps on the floor. He's going to give his body put his body on the line. The Garden's going to love him. The fans are going to love him. He's from there, so it's a perfect fit out there. Perfect.
Agreed. This one's interesting to me. Kristaps Porzingis for Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. I think Porzingis is a perfect fit for the Warriors. We just haven't seen a lot of them.
Right. I think that's, we mentioned earlier, health.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. Right. And obviously, Kristaps is definitely a perfect fit for Golden State, the way they play, their style of play, perfect fit. Obviously, his health is obviously most important when it comes to that. And obviously, we know the saga, the drama, whatever the case may be with the whole Kuminga thing and Golden State. I think it was only a matter of time, you would say, before they found him a new home. And, super talented kid. Obviously, we all know that with his ability, his athletic ability. Losing Buddy had to have been tough on him. Losing Buddy had to be tough on him. Just, his speed, the way he plays and, his shooting ability fits perfectly for Golden State that we've seen over the last year and a half. But I think it's Kuminga wanted a new destination. Golden State gave him a new destination. Porzingis is a perfect fit for Golden State. Just always about health.
Yeah.
With Kristaps. So hopefully we see him out there.
And that's the tricky, it's a roll of the dice, right, for both teams, because I think if he's healthy, he doesn't get traded from Atlanta.
Correct.
Right, but because he's been in and out of the lineup and the Dubs need help, that's an interesting front court. Imagine if Jimmy was there. Big ifs here, but if Jimmy and Porzingis are healthy with Draymond,
man,
that's a heck of a front court.
It is.
But even Kristaps and Draymond is a great lift. So interesting to see if he gets to play and he comes together. I like the Coby White deal for the Hornets. The Hornets have played some of the best basketball in the entire league recently. And I think he gives them depth and shooting and some playmaking. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Laker thing, and once again, like when guys play against us. But Kobe is one of those guys as well. When he sees us, man, boy, it seems like he doesn't miss. And but like you said, he gives them another ball handler, another pick and roll player, but another stretch guy that can shoot the ball. And I think the way they're playing, like you just said, they're one of the hottest teams, along with the Clippers over the last month. Playing exceptional basketball. I think it gives them another dynamic piece. So, it should be good for them, man. Like I just like the way they're playing. Like they have a lot of guys that can create shots, can make shots. Obviously, Melo. Obviously Knipple. We can talk about the rookie season that he's having. So Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges. These guys are they're figuring it out. You know, they're figuring it out, and I would say Coach Lee got those guys playing the right way.
Yeah.
He looks like he's holding them accountable. You know, and you know, adding Coby is definitely a good piece for him.
It's impressive to see. Great coaches have done a great job sticking with it. The hardest thing I think for them, again, we'll bring it up, is health. They haven't been healthy.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller, Melo, they haven't had. But I think now that those three perimeter players with Khan, there's a stability there. You can see it's transforming Melo a little bit. Like he's trimming the fat in his game. He's playing more efficient at both ends of the floor.
They're winning.
They're winning.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's seeing like, okay, the winning is starting to happen. So they're okay. I can do this. Like, you know, when you're not winning, and you're like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if I change my game or not. When you're young, sometimes that's how you feel. But like, I think the fact that they're winning, he's playing the way he's playing, and those other guys are playing the way they're playing, I think it's giving him just a little bit more confidence to like believe in his teammates.
For sure. And Diabate is an interesting pickup. Like, turning into a really good player.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes an impact at both ends.
Both ends, yeah.
And as we found out recently, he's got some dog in him,
For sure.
which I admire. So that always is
I already knew Miles did, but you know,
that was a good part of the equation for me in a basketball player and athlete. So I mean that's a great story. Really excited to see if they can where their season ends. Do they get into play-in? Do they make it into the top 6?
Right.
But seeing them in a play-in at least or a playoff series would be fun because that's a team that's on the rise.
It would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks for watching Mind the Game. New episodes drop every other Tuesday. Remember to like, subscribe, or follow wherever you're watching.